Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we are going to be diving deep and adding some upgrades to our base and also making this sick looking armor. So, I hope you guys are ready. So, last episode I did promise you guys that that I would get this lava gen set up and we would fix the lava gen. Well, we're going to do that today. That's the first thing on our list, is to fix this ugly lava gen. So, first thing I need to do, well, is break this bad boy. We are going to need 2 of these cobble generators and potentially 3. It all depends later on how we do this. But we are going to be replacing this whole setup, so you will no longer have this laggy setup that could potentially cause issues on servers. I have had some complaints from even my own server admins. This right here needs to change. And we could have changed it a long time ago. Don't get me wrong. Let's go ahead and get this fixed. This is just something that I have been working on. So there is a thing called auto clickers, or clickers in general. So you do have an auto clicker. Now you can use this. There's also an automated user that you could use. Both of them are okay. I don't know honestly which one it uses less power. Maybe you guys can let me know down below if one of you guys do that research. But one of them is the way to go. First, I'm going to go ahead and use this auto clicker. I think it's the most simple and easy to use auto clicker out of all of them. So we are going to need some good old diorite. And I already have 2 of them in my inventory because I think we've played with them before. And I'm going to go ahead and make 2 more because we only need 4 as of right now. I don't know how many. I think I have enough dispensers, right? And make sure I have some redstone blocks. Let's just check. Do I? I do. Okay. So we need some more polished. And we're good to go. Okay, so we have 4 auto clickers. Now you are going to need a crescent hammer or a hammer, some kind of wrench to rotate these blocks. You're also no longer going to need redstone. So all of this redstone foolery that we have in the background, that can go, right? No need for it. Saves us a lot of space. You could even set up 4 of these auto clickers in this little bitty roundabout if you really wanted to. But for the sake of how I already have it set up, I'm just going to do it this way. So I'm going to rotate these all in the same direction. I'm going to face them down, and we can kind of turn them just like that. I think that set that perfectly down. Yep, just like that. This one facing that way, that should set it facing down. There we go. If we don't see any, if you don't see it on any of the sides, we know that it's facing down. There we go. That should be facing down, and then last but not least, that should now be facing down. So all we have to do now is make sure this is getting cobblestone. Now this should automatically fill with cobblestone because we have these GPS markers located to this specific spot, right? Now the only other thing these things need is power. Technically they will right click as soon as we give them power. I will set these here in a little bit. We'll talk about how we should set them. But we need some GPS markers to locate them. I think I'm going to put a GPS marker for each one inside of these. That way we maintain that. So I'll explain what I'm talking about. GPS markers. I guess since we duplicated a bunch of things before, we can go ahead and pull these out since we don't really need these. We can set them to different blocks. So GPS. Here we go. Just to make sure we can maintain enough power for these, we do need to make sure that we have enough GPS markers set to them. And I'll explain. So this energy right here technically needs a power upgrade for each one. And they need to be set in the first slot. Or I can do 1 apiece, but make sure they need to be set in the first slot at least. At the minimum. Because these do prioritize from this slot over. So the higher priority stuff, put it over here on the first slot. So let's go ahead and get this set. I'm going to go ahead and set this one to this one. So remember, set it to that marker. Same with this one. It needs to go in the first slot on this energy transfer node. And then over here, we got 2 of them. This one here and this one, just like that. So this one being the first energy slot. Very, very simple. So I hope this is easy to understand. The reason we need this in the first slot is because that's how we're generating power. If this runs out of power and can no longer send power to this thing, it'll stop our entire power production altogether. So we need to make sure this always is getting the first bit of juice. And I recommend setting this at least at first on 5 as of right now. 5 is probably going to be the best spot to leave this, at 5. And then of course, well, it's making sound, so we need to go ahead and add that to our list. And it's actually doing the armor equip sound, which is kind of odd, but that's the sound that it actually uses. So we can go ahead and get rid of that. Now I'm not too worried about the lava sound, or the sound of it placing buckets, because that's not bothering me, because it doesn't do it very often. But we should now have sufficient power generation, and if we do ever need to give this thing more lava, all we need to do is bump this up to 8. And if you ever needed to do it even faster than that, of course you can add more. But I recommend, instead of doing this faster in this right here, I recommend just making more of the glass cauldrons. I'm pretty sure that having this and having multiple clickers on here probably wouldn't work as well as just making more lava generators. So anyways, I hope that solved some issues, and I hope that helped. And if it did, awesome. I hope you click that like button. If it didn't, well, I'm sorry. But we're going to be moving on to some more things in this pack that are going to be at your utmost attention. So let's get in on with it. So as of right now, there's a lot of things that we should probably go ahead and get started up. One of those being Industrial Foregoing. Industrial Foregoing is a wonderful mod and has a lot of uses, and is going to be very helpful later on as we start to automate things. So in order to get started with that mod, we are going to need plastic. And plastic is something that is essential to Industrial Foregoing. And Industrial Foregoing has tons and tons of resourceful items. So it's a beautiful mod, but we have to have plastic before we can do any of that. So to do that, we have these plastic rubber that we need to make, and we need to make tiny dry rubber, sorry. The tiny dry rubber does come from a latex processing unit, but it doesn't really tell you from there, unless you read in the book, how to get latex, right? So let's take a look at something called a tree, right here, a tree fluid extractor. Very simple machine to make. Let's go ahead and pull it up. Tree fluid extractor with some iron gears and a redstone furnace. Very simple indeed to make. I'm going to technically want 4 of these just to speed things up. So we should probably make 4 of them. There we go. Awesome. So we have 4 of them ready to go. Now we do need that latex processing unit. So latex processing unit, I always spelled latex wrong. I know you're probably laughing right now. But I do need this. So let's go ahead and get this furnace. There we go. And what are we missing? Iron gear, of course. Okay, so here we go. We have the 4 tree fluid extractors and latex processing units. Now we are going to need a couple other things to get this to work, like a fluid pipe. Now I do have a lot of fluid extractors, so that's just what I'm going to use. And also fluid cable is something. But there is something special that we can do with the fluid extraction cable. Now this is why I love my community. The community is absolutely phenomenal. So I was on the sub server just hanging out with people in the Discord, and seeing some of the subs were using this method. Absolutely awesome. I didn't even know this is possible. But if we take some buckets, some of you in the comment section may be like, "Oh, I knew about that." I'm surprised you didn't. But we're gonna go ahead and get some slabs, and we're gonna lay down some beautiful slabs. Let's go ahead and get that. Now, a lot of people have asked. I've seen it. I've seen people ask, because I've watched a lot of live streams. I've seen people ask in live streams, and they go, "How do you get unlimited water?" Well, we're going to talk about that right now. So let's go ahead and place this down. I'm going to place this here, 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 and here. These are the latex processing units, or not latex, tree fluid extractors. These are going to pull the latex from a log of any kind. And then we're going to have over here a latex processing unit. This is going to process the latex, right? And in between that, we need some way of getting water. Which, if I place this here, it's kind of a catty corner, but I think that I can make this work. So if I go ahead and break this wood here, and I place down a bucket of water, let's place it right here for right now. I need to go down here because I'm going to place down some wood like that. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves an infinite water source built up here, because this thing needs a couple different types of fluids, right? It needs the latex from this, and it also needs water. So I just put some water in there. I think I can... Oop, nope, don't need to do that. So I did. I just put some water in there. What I need to do, though, is make that a infinite amount of water. And the best way to do that is to make an infinite water source. Now, you can put an extraction cable on a machine, and you can rotate it like this, right? If you hit it on this side, believe like this, it'll rotate like so. Now, I do need to get some redstone torches so I can block off these cable connections here and here. Oops, here and here. If I can click on that. It's always hard to hit the actual hitboxes of this cable sometimes. There we go. And it looks like I broke my infinite water source, so I need to fix that. There we go. And I also need to block off the connection on the top, because I don't want the other cables to connect to it on top. So there we go. Now, the only thing I need to do is hook up the cables to this on the side, and that is an infinite water source. Guys, that is super cool. Now, it does interact with the actual world, so keep that in mind, but that is an infinite water source. It's going to continue to fill until it fills these cables and everything. And the transfer rate, you can click here, and it'll actually open the transfer rate. You can lower this or raise this if you want. But yeah, this thing will fill a tank if you really want it to. It is absolutely amazing. And I did not know that that was a thing. Crazy, right? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set these up. These are going to be extracting fluid from the tree itself. So I'm just going to connect them in the center. And like I did before, pull this. Now I do need another redstone torch because I don't want anything connecting to these sides. And just to make it look pretty, we're just going to connect it like that. Now, that's going to be pulling in the latex. So let's go ahead and get something in here that is going to be able to give us that latex. And that is a block placer. So, Cyclic has a lovely block placer. I think it's called a block placer, right? Yeah, good old-fashioned block placer. It doesn't even require power or anything. It is that simple. It's just a simple machine that has a little simple timer on it. And when you place blocks in here, it'll just place them. So, another thing that my community recommended and mentioned to me is that there is wood, right? Wood blocks. And these wood blocks give you 1 millibucket every 5 ticks on a normal log. But mineral logs, right here, they give you a little bit more. They give you 5 millibuckets every 5 ticks. So it's highly recommended if you have this wood already from Integrated Dynamics, which you probably should, comes from the mineral sapling, to use that instead. Now you probably only need a couple of stacks, at least to get started, to put in here. And what that's going to do is that's going to start pulling out latex over here. It's going to fill up, and then as soon as we give this some power, it's going to start producing some latex for us. So let's get another GPS. Right-click that bad boy. We're going to run over here, and we're going to fill this thing up with power. Now, I did remember one of these had less in it, and I think it's this one. And there we go. Look at that. We filled this thing up with power. Now, as of right now, we have 2 generators that are given this power. We have this one and this one. These are all generators that we ended up duping through the Parabox. And I plan on kind of getting a different power generator set up eventually. This is just a really nice early game one. But yeah, this right here is producing that tiny dry rubber. And that tiny dry rubber will eventually get us plastic, which is used to make pretty much every machine in Industrial Foregoing. Very useful. So yeah, this is something that I highly recommend getting as soon as you possibly can. So now that we know how to get unlimited amounts of water, Now I want to apply the plastic that we generated over here to something that you can use to store tons of items and fluids, and that is the black hole tank, or the black hole unit. Both the unit holds items, the black hole holds fluids. This thing will hold tons of fluids. I mean, a lot. It tells you right here exactly how much. It'll hold 2,147,483,607 millibuckets. Lots and lots of buckets. That's a lot of fluid. I don't think we could potentially fill this thing up, but it may be very, very far towards the end of the episode, or end of the season, or series. So let's go ahead and see if we can't make this thing. I do want to get this thing hooked up the same way. So like I said, we need to make plastic. That should now be in here because I just made it. There we go. And what? We just had that available. Make sure that I'm not going crazy. We just made this. I feel like sometimes we lose items. I don't know how, but we do. But I just made those things. So anyways, that's what we needed. Let's go ahead and get ourselves the fluid pipe. We have our wrench. I'm just going to pipe this right in. Right in. We're going to set this thing right here. I'm going to pipe it right in. And we're going to turn this like that. And that should forever keep this thing filling up. So we technically have an infinite water block right there. But I do want to go ahead and pipe this into another fluid storage or fluid container, which you may be wondering, why am I going to do this since I'm already filling this up? Why don't I just put the other material here? There's actually a quest to, I believe, fill one of these, or at least that's just an intention. I think there's something to do with filling this storage. I don't remember where it was at, but I think it's towards the end of the page. Right here. Fill the black hole tank with any fluid. Right click it. So yeah, we need to fill that thing. Fill it completely. So that is one of the goals. So this is probably one of the ways to actually do this. Probably one of the better ways to do it. And I need to go ahead and just make it convenient for all the other fluids as well. So what I'm going to do is take this and get a fluid transfer node. And we're going to place the fluid transfer node here. And I'm just going to use the pipe. The good old-fashioned fluid pipe. And we're just going to connect that to the side. Oh, not that. I did not mean to do that. Here. There you go. It does seem like that makes that update faster. I don't know why, but it definitely does seem like it's going way faster. I don't know. But this is going to fill that up. Right? It should be splitting the fluid evenly. At least I think it does. And now we have, if anything needs water, such as this or whatever, we can just put a GPS in there and make sure it's filled with water. So that is infinite water for you guys that were wondering. There is an infinite water source block from Nuclear Craft that you can get into. But if you haven't already done Nuclear Craft, this is definitely a way to do it. And this might be one of the faster ways. Even faster than Nuclear Craft. All depends. I think that later on, Nuclear Craft water source is fast. This does 640 millibuckets a tick of water constantly. So, I mean, it might be fast enough. I don't know. But we also have, when I seen water, there's the sink. The sink is not infinite. So a lot of people may comment in the comments that a sink is the best. The sink is not infinite in this pack. So go ahead, make one for yourself. You'll find out very quickly that it is not infinite. Not like in most other packs you play. So, I hope you enjoyed that. So when it comes to getting some decent armor, at least early game, before we start getting into some really nice armor that gives us flight and things like that, it's probably best that we kind of experiment with Tinker's Armory, or Construct's Armory. This thing is kind of a hidden gem that is in Tinker's Construct, and we're gonna talk about it a little bit. So, what we need is some sort of crafting table. I think this one will work. Throw that in there. We'll get ourselves an armor station. I kind of want to upgrade that to the armor forge because I know we're going to be using some metal parts later on. But in order to get a forge in general, which we're going to need the seared stone later on anyways, is we're going to need to kind of make some of the actual seared stone. And there's a couple of ways we can do this. We can do petrified amber, which is one way to get it, right? You can also use the resin. Truffles will work. Or you can even make grout, right? But I think petrified amber is probably the best way. It's better than making grout. So let's take a look at Amber and make herself some petrified amber. Now, petrified amber is going to get us the ingots, or at least it will cast as ingots, even though they'll be bricks. Let's go ahead and throw that in there, and that should start casting out exactly what we need, which will be seared bricks. And you guys should know seared bricks, that's from Tinker's Construct, right? Right. So we can definitely make some stuff from Tinker's Construct, including upgrading our forge over there, our tool forge, to or upgrading our tool station to a tool forge, and also getting ourselves into a little Tinker's Construct's Armory, which is an add-on to Tinker's Construct. So speaking of the Armory, right? We were looking at that. We have a few different materials and things like that that we can use to build an armor set. So we have chest pieces, we have our plates and things like that. We have our leggings, and all these different parts give us different things. And we are going to require some certain materials. There should be the book right here, Materials in You, Armors, what is it? Armory, Adinium. What? Adium? Is that right? So we need a book in this. I think we can go ahead and make a simple book. And there we go. We can make Materials in You. And the Materials in You gets updated with another blank pattern. And this is going to be how we do our stuff with the Armory. It's going to tell you what these different materials can do for your armor and stuff, and how to repair your armor and things like that. But you're going to see, like this right here, it tells you what each piece does, and even when you hover over it, it will tell you how everything works. I highly recommend going through and reading this book. I'm going to go through here. I'm going to see what I think is probably going to be the best set for me. But for you, it may be different. And then I'm going to go over how to make it. And then we're going to eventually have an armor set. And I think next episode, we're really going to put this armor set to the test as we get into deep mob learning and try to get ourselves some nice creative flight that doesn't require us to eat chorus fruit or anything like that. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and see what I can't come up with as a good idea, and I'll be back. So I have all of my casts made, ready to go to get into this Tinker's Construct Armory stuff. For the chestplate core, which is, I've already made the cast for everything. For the chestplate core, I'm going to be using this lovely material, which is manulin. So I went ahead and made some manulin in this bad boy, and we're fixing to make pink slime. I'm going to show you how to do that. But I do need some pink slime, because the pink slime, or not pink slime, wow. Night slime, that's what I'm making, night slime, sorry. Night slime is going to be used for the armor plates, and then I'm going to use cobalt for the armor trim. Now, there's very specific reasons why I'm doing this. We'll talk about that later, but this stuff just has really good durability, and you can see here, cobalt on this trim gives you 14 durability. It also gives you lightweight, which increases your movement speed by 5%, which will be nice. Manulin has the highest defense. Right here, it says attackers might not feel great hitting you, which will probably give them some kind of effect, potentially potion or effects or whatever. So this is the highest defense, right? And we're going to add to that with let's go over here, Night Slime, which is going to give us 1 toughness modifier. Now, there are other things that can give us this, but this right here gives you you somehow feel healthier effect, which does help out later on. Slimy, this thing does give you some higher toughness, but it also lowers everything else. But blue slime would be a pretty good substitute if you don't feel like making night slime. That's just my opinion if you want to do that. But we're also going to be adding some different effects later on that you can add these modifiers to. So I'm also going to be doing this, which does give you some pretty cool effects on top of that. This armor can be pretty overpowered. So I'm going to go ahead and cast out these parts, and then we're going to make them together and then throw this armor on. So let's go ahead and get that night slime made that I was talking about. It's actually going to be, I believe, 1 iron in here, And I went ahead and added another melter to the back because we could technically cover this whole thing if we really wanted to. But adding the other melter to the back allows you to get 3 materials in here. So on this one, we're going to go ahead and do a slime ball. And then I think it is 2, I think it's 4 amber in here. And that will, once this all melts down, this will create 1 ingot worth. And you can see these materials, they do require quite a bit, but the plates are going to require 3 apiece, right? And we're going to need 4 of these plates, and we're also going to need 4 armor trim parts. And then we're going to need 1 of the helmet, we're going to need 1 of each cast, right? And I do have casts, the other casts are laying right here. They're ready to be poured out. So all I have to do is pour these out and get these ready to go, and I'll meet you over at the other cast. So there we go. Yeah, that was the proper amount, I do believe. So all it's waiting on technically right now, it has everything ready to go. It is just waiting for the rest of this to finish up, I do believe. So as soon as that's done, I want to make sure that this is the right recipe. Make sure it's 411 on this. That way you guys can put that in here and you don't even have to do the math or anything. You don't have to worry about it. It's already ready to go. So that should finish. That should put that in there. And then that should cast out. And that should be enough. And there we go. It finished. And that produced you a night slime. So that's how you make night slime. And I'm going to go ahead and do the hard part. And I'll be back. So all the parts are ready to go. I think all we need to do now is put them together inside the forge. And see what this crazy looking armor turns out to be. Very, very, very fabulous. We were making some pretty sick looking armor. Wow, that actually turned out really cool. I am actually surprised. That is some snazzy looking armor right there. Wow. Okay, so let's actually take a look at this. Like, this is just regular old diamond armor. And we do have the option to make some other armor in here as well. The toughness is 1 on these guys, the modifier. The toughness is a little bit higher on this, but defense, I think, is way higher. We'll just have to see, because I know this gives you a full bar. What does this give you? Man, that is some. It also gives us speed as well. Like, I'm not even going to joke. Each one of these gives us a speed boost. So, like, we definitely get speed, and like we get a 5% speed boost, which is really nice. Our armor bar is pretty high. I do want to take this off. We'll take a look at our toughness bar and see how high it is with normal diamond armor. So so diamond armor is a little bit better than our current armor, but we can make it better. There are modifiers that we can add to our armor that do a lot of different things. So this right here steals life from you. If we want to give our armor this, we can make it repair itself. This one does minor armor, and this one increases the toughness. So I definitely want to put diamond on there. And this is definitely something that I want to do. So diamond is definitely a modifier to put on at least my armor. That's going to help us with our toughness modifier. So let's go ahead and do that. And plus it makes it look really, really cool. There we go. And I think it goes with the color scheme very well. Wrong slots. So there we go. That gives us a toughness bonus, right, on our armor, which is great. That took us from 2 toughness and added 2 toughness to our armor set. I think this is now better than diamond, because this has 3 toughness now, whereas our other helmet only had 2 toughness. So there we go. We have already exceeded that. Now, we should have 3 modifier slots, and we do gain more modifier slots the more we upgrade this thing. So some other useful things would be to probably add resistance to our armor. Resistance is a great thing to add. Blast resistance and projectile is a great thing. Fire resistance, not so much, because fire stuff is going to be helped later on with some other stuff. I think this one adds a chance to not consume durability. I'm not too worried about that. No, I don't want the still life thing, but I do think the resistance itself is probably the better one to go with. So we need some gold for that. And I mean, literally, Tinkers is so crazy because you can make armor that is so much different than what I'm currently working on. It's insane. So I'm going to put this amount of gold. I'm going to put 2 apiece because this will make a blank cast, and we're actually going to use this blank cast in order to craft some things. So now that I have that done, actually I could probably already just use some cast. I might as well use, I'm never going to probably make any more armor of any different material. So I can actually use these as the casting material. That's a pretty good idea. So if I take a look at this, we can go, what do we actually want to use? I mean, I guess we could just take a look at it. So modifier, and we have the resistance. It looks a lot like the reinforcement, but the resistance is much different. So we need a few iron blocks for this. And I want resistance on each armor piece. So yeah, I can go ahead and use the armor cast, might as well. We do need some obsidian, so I might as well grab the stuff that I made before. There we go. And last but not least, bam. And yeah, all of this helps improve stuff. Like, oh, this armor is going to be super sick once we go to use it. I mean, it's so good. Like right here, we add that, wow. This is really transforming the way our armor looks. All of this customized, wow, it looks like a much tougher armor now. Crazy what that does. But yeah, this definitely is going to make our armor much better and give us resistance. So let's go ahead and throw this armor on as of right now, and that's going to give us, like I said, that little bit of speed bonus, which is kind of nice. It's kind of nice to be able to walk a little bit faster. It does sort of affect our FOV. We can actually counter that by dropping our FOV down maybe to 70 now, or to normal. That feels a little bit better, right? It feels about normal. Let's check out our tank. We already 4,000 buckets in there. We haven't even really done much. So is this going to cast blank casts? Oh, it has stuff in it. Well, we don't need to worry about it anyways. We've already got our casts anyways. But yeah, that is our Tinker's armor. We do look pretty sick, if I do say so myself. Now, there is something that I really want to work on getting for my chest piece. And that is the Traveler's Cloak of Invisibility. This thing right here is going to be super useful. It grants invisibility. You can toggle it on and off. It uses durability for its active invisibility, which we should be able to counter because there are repair kits for this. And it doesn't cost a modifier slot. So as far as I know, it doesn't. It might, I don't know. If it does, we have one still available. And I'm probably going to go ahead and upgrade the rest of our stuff with one more thing. I could do another modifier of resistance. That would be great to do. Or I think I'm going to go with projectile protection. Because having that little bit of projectile protection is always very nice. But anyways, guys, this has been a super interesting episode. We're going to be getting into even more craziness as we progress through this mod pack, which I am absolutely loving. This has been a wonderful mod pack. You guys have been absolutely amazing as well. And I thank you guys for following along. Also, we did a 24-hour stream. If you didn't catch that, most likely at the time of this video being uploaded, if you look down in the comments below, if you made it this far and you want some more, I am probably live streaming over at twitch.tv/ChosenArchitect. You can find that linked down in the comments section, or you can find it in the description. Either way, most likely I'm live streaming because I live stream almost every single day. But we had a wonderful 24-hour stream the other day. I feel bad if you missed it, because we did unbox the 100 subscriber plaque that I got from YouTube. It was absolutely insane. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.